Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Wolf and I'm going to be your instructor for Psych 4430 Abnormal Psychology this summer. I wanted to record a quick welcome video so that you could see my face and also acclimate you to the class, the course page, and just kind of talk to you for a minute so that we can kind of bridge that digital gap. First, I just want to answer some quick questions that are routine questions that I get. One, yes, this is a summer course, but no, it isn't any easier than the traditional fall or spring course. Basically, it's just faster. We take all 15 weeks of content and we cram them into 8 weeks, which means that we do almost an entire week's of content in about 3 to 4 days. So you will have the exact same experience to some degree as a fall or spring student. Okay, I don't cut things, I don't nerf things, and I don't make them any easier. We just do them quickly. All right. Yes, you do need a web camera because yes, we will be using Lockdown Browser with Respond as webcam monitoring. The reason for that is because I have had students cheat. I've had students cheat in my abnormal class. So I use the web camera to make sure that it's actually you, the person who's enrolled in this class, taking this test, that you're not taking it in groups, though you're not supposed to be in groups right now anyway, right? But that you're not also not on your phone or taking pictures of the exam or leaving the room. Just look for answers, right? Yes, there are 2 textbooks. They do have affordable options. I will talk about them in a moment. Yes, there are group assignments. The reason why there's group assignments is because the research on online education shows that groups are actually really useful and effective for teaching. And yes, I have weekly office hours. They're hosted through Skype, and then you can either use your webcam to have a video chat with me, or you can just click to text chat with me as well. If you need to talk about something and office hours doesn't work for you, I'm here. So where would else would I be? So I'm pretty flexible about being able to schedule other appointments. All you have to do is just email me. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of our website and then also talk to you a little bit about the syllabus and some tips on how to be successful in this class. So this is our course homepage. The top bar is a logo bar. It helps me remember which class I'm in. Hopefully it will help you too, but if you don't feel like you need it, you can just collapse this widget. You can collapse any of the widgets you want, and that kind of helps you take a control of your homepage. Over here is just some reminders about when office hours are and how to best contact me. And then over on the right, there's a big green button. That is my Start Here button. This will take you straight to the first module, which is our orientation module. The orientation module gets you oriented to the class as a whole. So it's really important that you go through everything that's in there. The next module after that is Essential Documents. Essential Documents focuses on this specific version of the course, so our syllabus, our course calendar, specific policies that's just for summer, things like that. Also, when we move towards having our think tank group assignments, the worksheets for those assignments will be in Essential Documents. We also have our classroom modules, and then there's communications and resources. The communications module just reminds you on how best to get in touch with me, and the resource module is full of really useful links to be a successful student. I did update all of the links for the summer, and I put in the description how they're responding to the fact that we don't have the ability to come to campus. So those that have virtual services will actually be listed in the description for all those links. So it's important that you check those out as well. Underneath there is the announcements, and I try to keep up with posting announcements anytime I do anything in the course. So it's important to make sure that you also keep up with the announcements. A trick that you might not know is if you go up to your name here, you can click notifications, and D2L will allow you to sign up for all sorts of instant notifications about things that are going on in the course, such as when announcements are updated or available. You may want to select those, but you can also look at some of these others and make good choices on how you could best set D2L up for helping you. After drop add, your big green button will be replaced with other things, but for now it just takes you right to orientation. As I said, the orientation module helps you get oriented to the class, so it's really important that you go through these. Even if you've had a class with me before, I would encourage you to look over everything that's in here because some of these things may have been updated since the last time you took a class that was online or a class with me. At the very bottom is the Lockdown Browser practice. Because we're using Lockdown Browser, I have a practice here where it shows me that you do have your web camera and you know how to use Lockdown Browser. There are questions in this, but they're questions that just require you to read a statement and select true. So you don't have to prep for it, you just need your web camera. The next module, like I mentioned, is Essential Documents, and that's where you can find our syllabus and our course calendar. There's also a direct link to each of our 2 textbooks. The links go to Amazon, and the only reason why I do that is so that you can actually see the cover of each of these books so that you know that you have the right version. I know textbooks can be expensive, and that's why I've tried to be really responsible with the books that I've chosen. Our main textbook, which is the Sue, Sue, and Sue text, as you can see on Amazon, rents for as little as $32. If you use your Google Foo and other search techniques that you may have learned as a student over the years, you might be able to find it cheaper than that, or who knows, maybe even PDFs of the book or whatever. The other one, Crazy Like Us, is more of a popular press book. So again, very cheap. You can get the paperback for, it looks like only $10 new, and you can get a used copy for like $5. So there's lots of good options. And again, even though the books aren't necessarily free, they are much cheaper than your standard textbook. So hopefully that helps with some of your summer costs. The book that you don't need is this one. You do not need the DSM. I have a DSM because I'm a clinician and because this is, you know, not only my job as a therapist, but also my job as an educator. So I have all of this stuff, but this is also a book that's more for people who are actually going to do diagnosis. So you don't need one of these. There's no reason to spend the money on one of these. If you want to pick up a used copy just for your own fun and amusement, go right ahead, but you don't need to purchase this. So let's talk a little bit more about our syllabus. I'm certainly not going to read the syllabus to you. There's just a couple of things that I want to make sure that I point out. If you scroll down, you'll see that there are required supplies, and make sure that you not only look at this, but also the document that's in the orientation module on the necessary computer equipment. It's important that you have the necessary computer equipment to take this class as a fully online class, especially since we don't have access to our on-campus computer labs. If you don't have access to the appropriate computer equipment, you may want to ask yourself whether or not this is a good fit for you. Also, this is not a work at your own pace course. This is not one of those courses where you can just bang out everything in about 2 weeks and be done for the whole summer. This course builds on itself, so the modules will open by the dates on the course calendar, and the course will go at its pace rather than at your pace. And again, I think it's really important to mention that we're putting 15 weeks into 8. And there's a lot of reading in this course because this is a 4,000 level course, all right? So please make sure that you keep all of that in mind when you look at your other load that you have this summer, and just make good choices while Drop Ad is active. I know nothing about your personal situation because I haven't gotten to talk to you personally. I'm just making a video here. Make sure you also read through my course policies because of course you're going to have to live by them through the summer. And as for the course requirements, do make sure you look over these. The most important one to begin with is the syllabus quiz. In your Essential Documents module is the syllabus quiz. So there's the syllabus, the course calendar, some other policies, and then at the bottom is a syllabus quiz. You need to earn a 100% on the syllabus quiz to be able to move forward in the course. Right now, Tuesday, Module 1 is already open, and some students are already completing the assignments that are in that. Module 2 will open tomorrow, Wednesday, and there are due dates in that module as well. But you won't be able to access any of those modules until you've earned a 100% on the syllabus quiz. And if you delay in taking the syllabus quiz and those due dates pass you by, you'll just earn a 0 on them. So it's really important to crank out that syllabus quiz as soon as possible. You have an unlimited attempts to earn that 100%, but it's got like 25 minutes when you click start, so you can literally just open the syllabus in another window and go question by question if you need to, okay? There's also a pre and a post test and some other required setup assignments. I put a checklist in every single module to help you stay on track. So hopefully that will help you with managing some of these first assignments. There are also some discussion posts you need to make to introduce yourself to the class and to your future group, because again, yes, there are group assignments. Then there are 3 exams. I will be doing study sessions before these exams through D2L Collaborate. Okay, So the rest of the assignments, right, is there's a module quiz, right, for every module. Some modules have 2, and that's how we get up to 13. You get to drop your 2 lowest, so only your top 11 count, okay? And they're just reading check quizzes, and there's also a reading guide in every module that helps you prepare for them. There's unit assignments. There's 4 of them, right? So one unit has 2, right? And the other units have 1. And you get to pick whichever 3 you want. You can either pick these by the 3 that sound most interesting to you, or you can pick them by when they're due and decide whether or not that's a good fit for you and the other things you have going on in your life. You can do all 4, and then I'll just pick your 3 highest grades. Totally up to you, your 3 highest count. And the last big thing is the think tank assignments. I will be dividing you up into groups, and in those groups, you're going to kind of go through this book. Everybody needs to read the required chapters, and the chapters will be not only on the course calendar as when they're due, but also I will remind you in the reading guide in the module. So you're going to read this book, and then what you're going to do is you're going to talk about it with your group mates. How do you do that in a fully online course? Well, easy. We have all this great technology for you to do that with. So you'll use your webcam to talk to your group members through Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Skype, Google Hangout, whatever you want, right? And what you'll be turning in is a worksheet that I've developed that kind of goes through the chapter and has you responding to some questions. Some of them are questions that you could totally just say, hey, you do number 2 and 3 and I'll do number 4 and 5. And you can just do some project management where you assign tasks to your group members. And then some of them require discussion. And that way you can just, schedule a time and have a brief conversation through your web cameras and then jot down what you talked about on that worksheet and upload it. Okay. There's 4 chapters, so there's 4 worksheets, okay? So you're only going to have to meet with your group about 4 times. Now, I think it's really important that you understand that group work, of course, is something that we all have to learn how to do because almost nobody gets to do their job in their future career totally by themselves without ever having to work with a colleague or a supervisor. But right now, what you're learning to do, right, is how to manage a group virtually. And being able to do virtual project management is a great thing to be able to say in an interview for a future job. Some things are graded and then some things have penalties. And the last penalty that I want to make sure that you pay attention to is the language penalty. You will lose half a point of your final grade every time that I see you, catch you, using the words crazy or insane. Okay? The reason for this is because those 2 words directly contribute to the stigma that's associated with abnormal psychology and with mental illness. And one of the big problems with mental illness is, in fact, stigma. People do not seek help, the help that they need, for 2 main reasons, and one's money and the other is stigma. And the horrifying thing is, even if I gave therapy away for free, people still wouldn't come because of the stigma. So as psychology majors and as future psychology professionals, it's really critical that we all work together to fight against the stigma around mental health. One of the ways we do that is with our language. And so for the next 8 weeks, those 2 words are forbidden in this class. You cannot use them in the discussion board, you cannot use them on any assignment, and you cannot use them in any of the D2L collaboration sessions that you might attend. If you use them at all in any way that's associated with this class, and I catch it, I'm going to put in the gradebook your penalty. And the penalties do stack. That being said, over the years, and I've been teaching this class a long time, I've only ever caught one student more than once. There was one student once who got caught twice, and that's it. So some of you might just lose the 1.5, and many of you will not lose it at all, because if you make something important enough, people will actually change their behavior. That's an important thing to learn in this class. Now, after this video, if you hear me use it at any time and you catch me use it at any time and you email me, everyone in the class will also earn bonus points. So make sure you pay attention to my language as well. The only exception is if you're referring to the title of this book. The title of this book, of course, has one of those words in it. So if you're talking about this book specifically, or if I'm talking about this book specifically, you're okay. Now, many of you might think, well, why? What word am I supposed to use? Well, a lot of times when we use those words, we don't actually mean mental illness. We mean chaotic, ridiculous, unfathomable, unbelievable. And those are the words that you should actually work on using. So all of those things then add up to 100 points, and you can see how that breaks down to our letter grades. And so whichever letter grade you want is the number of points that you want to shoot for over the semester. Make sure you read through the rest of the policies, and then the last part of this syllabus is our course calendar. My big tip is to go ahead and just print a hard copy of that, add little check boxes next to all of the assignments, and check them off when you do them. It's a great way to keep on track, and it's actually what I do too to check off whether or not I've uploaded stuff and graded them. So I really suggest doing that as a good online tip. The other things that are in our Essential Documents module is a one favor policy that I started last semester when we had our transition, and I'm going to continue that policy. Make sure that you read through that, and then like I said, the syllabus quiz where you need to earn 100%. Once you do that, you'll see that our first module is already open. There's a checklist in every module, and that will help you stay on track. So make sure in every module that you visit, you start with the checklist. Another tip that I really want to make sure I mention is if you go to the discussions, there's an FAQ board. If you hit the down arrow, you can subscribe. My only option is to unsubscribe because I've already subscribed. But make sure you subscribe to the FAQ board, because even if you don't post a question, sometimes your classmates will post a question that's really good. And if I answer them, you'll also benefit from the answer if you're subscribed. All right, so I wanted to keep this video brief, so I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. If at any point you get lost or confused, do reach out to me. Again, this course isn't automated. There's a real person behind this screen, and I'd love to talk to you more about this kind of stuff. I have a lot of information that's not in the course because I've also taught this course at a graduate level. So if you have things that you're interested about, feel free to come by office hours. But if you have questions that aren't really office hour-y, or again, you just don't want to make a Skype appointment, you can always email me or post the FAQ board, all right? So reach out to me if you need me or if you want to talk about anything else. Hopefully we'll all have a great semester, and I'll see you online.